Alright, y'all, it's Sunday and it has rained all night and it's actually misting right now. I don't know if you can see the water everywhere, but it's definitely not the right conditions for me to be attempting to gel coat. So my stuff, these little puddles of resin, they dried up nice and hard. I was planning on getting out here and sanding all these smooth and acetoning the whole deck and starting the gel coat process, but I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pop that hatch cover off the front of the boat. I don't care if it rains in a little bit, it's a boat, but I'm gonna take the hatch cover off the front and take it up under my carport over there, and I'm going to start the process of trying to fix that broken edge. I don't know if I'll be able to do it or not. I've never done anything like that, but I'm just gonna wing it, and we'll see how it ends up. Let's get into it. Well, I gotta kind of clean this carport up. Probably flip that spool over and use that as my workbench, because here's my workbench. You gonna help me, Mr. Wiggy? Huh? Alright, let me straighten some of this junk up and I'll flip that spool over and use it as a table, and we'll get into the fixing on this hatch thing. I swear half the reason I like making videos is for the BJ cam. Alright, got the shop a little cleaner. Flip this table over. Here's the hatch cover, and if y'all have been following along, y'all know that this side is busted out. So this is what I have to attempt to repair, and I've got no idea how to do it, so I'm just gonna wing it. I think I'm gonna drill holes here on the top edge and put a piece of cardboard behind here, trace out this curve on the cardboard, and then cut the cardboard out to the same curve, and then lay that cardboard on a piece of 2x6 and trace that curve onto the 2x6 and cut it out, and then through the holes that I drilled, I'm going to drill down into the 2x6, and then I'm going to lay the fiberglass down the side of the 2x6. And when it cures, I'll just trim it off to the right, to this, basically the same level as this, same length as this comes down. That's how it's going to work in my head, but who knows if it's who knows if I'm going to be able to do that. That's probably totally the wrong way to do it, but that's how I'm going to attempt to do it. So we'll see. All right, here we go. You know what, folks? I think I changed my mind. I was rounding up the sanders and all that kind of stuff to do this. You know what? I think I'm going to go buy sheet wood from Lowe's, and I'm going to attempt to build a whole new hatch cover. Because not only is this side busted, but the back's coming apart. I do believe this thing's been repaired a few times over the years, so you know what? I'm fixing to hop in the truck, go to Lowe's, get a sheet of wood, and I think I'm going to buy a new jigsaw because my jigsaw took a dump on me, and come back and attempt to make one of these. So it's either going to be a success or an ultimate failure. Let's find out. Alright, y'all, back from Lowe's. It's like 1:15 in the afternoon, so I don't know how much of this I'm going to get done and put into this video, but new toys. Got a DeWalt jigsaw, a DeWalt little sander, which will come in really handy when I go for sanding the light blue trim on the side of the houseboat and painting it dark blue. But I got a 3/4 sheet, 3/4 inch thick 4x4 sheet. I just got a half sheet. sheet wood, and I got a 2x8x8 and a 2x4x8. And the reason I got the 2x8x8 is because the curve of this is 7.5 inches from the table up to here is 7.5 inches. So I was thinking if I make the side out of a 2x8x8 the correct length from point A to point B, then I'll lay this thing on here and scribe the curve off of this onto the 2x8x8 piece, and it'll actually be a 1/2 inch taller this way than it needs to be for me to trace the curve on the 2x8x8. Then I'll jigsaw that all out, do it times 2, one for one side, one for the other, and then I'll go lay it up on top of the houseboat, one on one side of the hatch hole, one on the other side of the hatch hole, and then measure the distance from one side to the other, and that will tell me how wide of a piece of this sheet wood I need to cut. So, alright, let me start breaking out all my new toys and checking them out. The sander even came with a little DeWalt bag. I'll probably end up putting tools in that, sockets, wrenches, stuff like that, for when we go riding a side-by-side and stuff. Cool. Alright, this hatch shows that it's about 27 inches long. And it's got, I don't know if you can see there. Actually, I said 7.5 earlier, but it's probably about 6.5 rise. This curve rises 6 inches, but I got a 2x8x8, so it's plenty good. So, alright, fixing to transfer that curve to the 8x8, and I'm going to make it longer than 27 inches. I'm probably going to go like 30 inches. That way I got a little wiggle room, because I'm going to have the rear 2x4 that goes across the back. So I gotta have extra coming this way for the 2x4 that goes across the back. So I'm going to cut it long, that way I can wiggle that in there. Alright, y'all, got it, the curve traced out. The X'd out part's going away. This is going to be the new side, but it's going to be taller. I'm going to make the hatch just a touch taller. Alright, fixing to cut this out. Alright, there it is. But before I duplicate this, let's go form fit it to the, make sure it fits the houseboat roof hatch opening. Alright, here it is. Looks like it could stand to be, have a little sliver of wood taken out here because it's kind of tight here and got a little gap here and there. But overall, it's pretty good. And I got the excess hanging off the back like I wanted. There's going to be a 2x4 here going from there over to this one. And of course it's going to come up. The other one was only about 1.5 inches tall. I'm going to do a couple inches tall on this one. So this curve right here there'll also be a curve here. It's not going to be big and bulky and goofy looking like that. So yeah, going to go up a couple inches and have that exact same curve going like that. And then after I frame it all, then I'll skin it with the plywood. So, although heck, I could frame it in. I could frame it in and countersink a couple lights in that cover on the face piece. I could sink a light in there and a light in there for like some headlights for at night or something. But, I'm getting ahead of myself. We'll go duplicate this and frame in the back, and do a little bit of framework across the middle. Then we'll put some plywood on it. Alright, we got a left and a right, identical to each other. let's go put them back up on the houseboat and get a measurement for the cross pieces. Well, I measured the opening, and from this corner to this corner, inside to inside, is 30.5. I measured the back, inside to inside, 31.25. So 3/4 inch difference from front to back. So it's going to be a odd shaped hatch cover, even though nobody will know but me, but little things like that aggravate me. But all right, let me get a measurement. All right, I used a little wooden handle wire brush to put a gap on one side. So then I'm actually going to build this hatch square. It's I got a measurement of on the back 33 3/4. I didn't bother measuring the front. We know the front's narrower, but I'm going to build the hatch square, and a perfectly square hatch will close over a goofy shaped hole. So 33 3/4 is the pieces I need to cut for making the rib work between. Look at fat babe. Look at fat baby down there. Always into something. What are you into, Socks? Silly piggy. Alright, got a couple pieces cut, 33 3/4. I don't know if I'm going to end up using this one, but we'll see. Probably the 3/4 inch plywood that's going to wrap around is going to make it stiff enough to where I don't need a front cross member. But definitely going to have a back cross member, and I'm going to space the back cross member far enough back from this little gap. That way when I bolt the stainless steel hinges, they got to have through bolts. So when the bolt comes through and you got to put a washer and nut on this side, it'll the nut and washer will have a little bit of gap in here for, and won't be closing down on this fiberglass lip right here. So I'm gonna make a mark on this thing where I want this rear piece to be. Gonna make a mark with a Sharpie marker, and go back to the shop and square everything up, screw it together, come back out and see how she fits. Kind of got her squared up and put together with the back piece. Let's go put her back on the houseboat, see how it fits. What's your problem, Wiggy? Little grumpy pig. Alright, here it is on the front. This one in here, this is just loose. I just got that kind of keeping the front the same distance apart as the back. And you can see what I mean about it not being square, the opening. So, but yeah, it's turning out decent, I guess, for somebody that don't do woodwork. So alright, now I'm probably going to use this 2x4, probably going to put a marker on top of this 2x4 and use it as a scribe, and get me a mark to I'll just scoot this 2x4 back little by little, keep scribing the mark on back, and that'll be the total height. I'll have to cut it all off, and that'll be the total height. Or I can make it higher in the back and slope down, cut a straight line from the back corner down a ways till I start getting towards this curve, and then do the curve. We'll see how I do it. Alright, y'all, I decided to cut a straight line from the back corner. This will be the hinging corner. Straight line from this corner up 18 inches, and I dropped down 1 inch at the 18-inch mark, and then I just used a big ass zip tie, put a little curve in the zip tie, and followed it with the Sharpie marker from the 18-inch mark over here to the very tip. So now I'm going to use the jigsaw, cut that out, and then I'm going to unscrew it, take the 3 screws out on this side, and lay this piece on top of this piece. Basically transfer, however that one ends up looking, I'm going to transfer that same mark to the other one. Then I'm gonna skin it with wood, and then I'm probably done for the night. Get ready for work tomorrow. Alright, y'all, here's what I come up with. Rounded the corners. So it'll lift up like so. So now I just need to skin it. And I think I'm gonna have to put slits on the underneath side of the plywood. I'm gonna cut it longer than it needs to be, and then right here at the well, it was 18 inches from this corner to where I started the slope going down. So what are these, 1.5 inches thick? So from here come up 19.5 inches on the sheet wood, and then I'll start doing scores. I'll adjust the saw blade. The wood is 3/4 inch, so I'll adjust the saw blade like maybe 1/2 inch, where it'll cut into it 1/2 inch, and I'll do a bunch of slits on the underneath side of the plywood. That way it'll try to bend around this corner. That's what I'm fixing to do now. I ain't gonna mess with this much longer though, because it's getting late, and I gotta get all my stuff ready for work tomorrow and all that stuff. So, but we making some progress. Alright, the plywood from left to right needs to be 36 9/16. And I measured a second ago from the bottom of here on this outside arch, and it from here to here was 33. So I'm gonna do, say, I don't know, 36, 37, just to be safe, while it when I cut all those scores in. That way I know I'll have plenty to wrap around, and then I'll just cut off the excess. Alright, here we go. Alright, y'all, just made a bonehead move. I cut it the 41 direction and the 33 9/16 the other direction. Then I decided I wanted to take a little more off, and I took it off the wrong side. But I think I'll be able to salvage it, because here it is sitting in this corner, and then look, when I rotate it up, I have just a hair left over. So it might work. So remember, measure twice, cut once. Alright, y'all, got it cut to the right size. Got a million lines drawn left to right where I'm going to run the skill saw through there about 3/4 of the way through the sheet of plywood, so I can kind of roll it around the curve. Got a little fat baby under my feet that's not happy I'm taking so much time doing this, because he'd rather me be feeding him. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to do every other line and see how it goes around the curve of the frame. And if it don't act right, then I'll come back and do the lines in between. Alright, here we go. Alright, let's see if I can do this holding the phone with one hand and bending this around with the other. Give y'all an idea what it looks like. It kind of bends around okay. Got a little crack in the wood there. But yeah, she'll bend around, and I'll have plenty left over. So I do believe this is where I'm leaving it for tonight, though. I'm going to throw it up on this bench right here, and I've got a ton of other stuff I've got to do. But I appreciate y'all joining in with me. Hopefully I didn't disappoint y'all. And I will continue this either later this week or this coming weekend. So I should have this thing on the boat next weekend, I guess. Alright, I'm going to go throw the old hatch cover on the boat so the rain stays out. Throw this on the table. And I got stuff I got to do before work tomorrow. So thank y'all. Y'all have a good, safe work week.